Hi, everyone. It's me, Dr. Goins, with Do This, Not That Tuesday. So let's go ahead and review what we've learned so far when it comes to Do This, Not That. And so the first thing that I had illustrated to you guys this month is that when you have a relationship based classroom, a big difference is that you're going to make a second home rather than an event venue. Second home, means that the space is personalized to the people who are actually going to live there for 180 days, and that it feeds off of hospitality in long term relationships. But an event venue, a space like that is looking for that short term engagement and entertainment, lots of decorations and thrills and frills, but it has short term effects. And so I find that in a relationship based classroom, teachers will put more of an emphasis on the space being more personalized and as a second home. I'm actually in the process of this now as I'm building up our new learning center to be open actually next Monday. So I'm providing a space that's very neutral, that's a second home. And then as they live in it, they're going to liven it up. The second thing that I said is you want to do this in the beginning of the year, which is take an inventory of what you already have and use that to start your space and get to know your students before you buy anything new. So a big thing is, and I've done this myself, even, in starting the micro school, I panicked and bought things that I thought the learners would love. But as I got to know the learners, the systems were pretty simple and it's not something I necessarily needed to buy. That's how I end up with a lot of stuff. Again, I'm collecting things in the learning center of things that I've got multiple teacher friends, thank you, Tina and Abby, who shared their stuff. And I'm a collector of many people's stuff, and we have a ton of stuff. And with that ton of stuff, it means I really don't have to buy anything new. So I've started a pre-K pod, I've started a K-5 learning center, and I don't have to buy any learning manipulatives. So I'm not shopping around for new games or new supplies, the cutest, things on social media or Instagram. Actually, I have plenty of stuff and my kids have plenty of stuff, and I don't want them to be all about the stuff. I want them to be all about the learning. So one thing that I encourage you to do at the beginning of the year is start with what you have, get to know your learners before you go out shopping. My third tip to you for Do This, Not That is to ditch the worksheets if you call those student support. So once TPT just became easier to pick a packet and pick accommodation and then put it in your cart, pay for it, and then print it out. That's not going to be very supportive to students. Really, when I think about systems of support for students for this, the relationships in your classroom, a lot of the goals have to do with interpersonal goals a lot of the time, or holding on to the responsibility or being responsible. But the reason why they're not responsible is they're not organized, or they can't manage their space, or they can't manage their time, or they can't manage their tasks. And so a lot of the system support and accommodations that I'll do is just providing a little system of support for them to organize a task, or to organize their materials, or to have a mindset for decision making. And so those supports look very different. So in this picture, all these baskets and anything in the cubby, different colors, different objects, different layouts. I find that's true with most students. But, it's just definitely not going to look like a stack of worksheets. So my last tip for you, if you're going to build a relationship-based classroom, Do This, Not That. This is the biggest one that I feel a lot of traditional options don't give into, both private and public, is they're kind of like gatekeepers to their schedule. But if you have, especially if you have multiple levels and abilities in your room, you got to flex your schedule. And so I've moved more towards a routine-based schedule, rather than just like a watch my watch. What time is it? Where do we need to be here? Because when I am in a relationship-based classroom, then I understand that people or students work at different paces. And so with that in mind, I can teach a routine really well and they'll get really efficient on the routine. Like this comes first, this comes next. That works, well. But if I'm always gatekeeping the time, like on the snow day delay, you can't gatekeep the time. It's just not going to line up. If we're in a math lesson that they actually have a really hard time with, I'm going to want to spend the 30 minutes of extra time reteaching that or slowing it down or guided practice instead of cutting them short in the middle of the lesson where they're, just receiving the content. So in that alone, even today when we had to transition from being off a holiday and then a couple snow days, it required a little bit more social emotional support. And so I'm going to cut back some of the time on some of the other areas so that I can provide that social emotional support. So again, I'm going to emphasize a routine of tasks or activities that need to be finished to move on. Versus staying on a schedule and moving on, even though they haven't met their goal or they haven't, used that time wisely, or we need to shift and intervene. So that is my do this, not that Tuesday. And I thank you for watching.